Draymond Green might be single-handedly putting a nail in the Golden State Warriors dynasty, and it's gotten so bad that he literally brought Steph Curry to the brink of tears. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot in these YouTube streets. We're on the road to 1,000 subs. Anyways, let's get back to business. You can't help but feel sorry for Steph Curry right now, because even though Klay Thompson may not be the same level of player he once was because of injury, and even though Draymond Green treats every single game like a UFC match, Steph Curry is still going in and putting in his all night in and night out. This man has averaged 26.6 points, 5 assists, and 4.3 rebounds per game through 68 games in the season, and he's been putting the Warriors on his back the entire way through. But oh man, where do we even start with Draymond Green? This guy is a straight up menace. I know for a fact that his therapist has been punching air the last 2 weeks. Last week against the Miami Heat, he literally grabbed Patty Mills by the neck and threw him down. This shit looked like a clothesline straight out of the WWE. Then 2 games ago against the Charlotte Hornets, he gets frustrated with Grant Williams and kicks up at the dude's nuts before they get tangled up. And man, does Draymond Green ever have a fetish for those nut shots. Pause. No, did he? Those are a Draymond Green signature. Now, in the most recent game against the Orlando Magic, this guy ends up arguing with the ref over a call and gets thrown out 6 minutes into the first quarter. He gets a first tech for being physical and touching the ref, then eventually gets tossed for running his mouth. Now, to be fair, I personally think the second tech was some more bullshit. The refs need to stop giving players techs for being emotional or talking back in the game. They're not teachers. In my opinion, the refs are proving to be just as emotional as the players when they do this. Let's be honest. The refs have been handing out techs like free samples at Costco all year for what seems to be minor infractions, but do they ever get fined? Do they ever get penalized for their errors or lapses in judgment the same way the players do? No. And I know that being a referee isn't the easiest job, but something's gotta give. Anyways, 6 minutes of Draymond Green was enough for this ref, and Draymond was shortly booted afterwards. But we gotta keep it 100 over here. Draymond Green's reputation precedes itself, and he didn't do himself any favors in this game. Steph tried to calm him down and get between him and the ref. Even CP3 got involved off the bench. Other members of the team tried to calm him down, but he just kept pushing the issue with the ref. So I guess you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. In the end, the Warriors made it out alive and beat the Orlando Magic, thanks in large part to Maple Jordan, Anthony Wiggins stepping up and scoring 23 points, finishing with 6 rebounds. But the issue with Draymond Green still had to be addressed, and this is what Steph had to say about the situation when the reporters asked him post-game.
All I say is we need him. He knows that. We all know that. So whatever it takes to keep him on the floor, he'll be available. That's what's got to happen.
A couple of days after this, Draymond Green would also talk about the situation and acknowledge his wrongdoings on his podcast, The Draymond Green Show.
However, I got ejected 4 minutes into the game. Just can't do it, regardless of what was said. I'm not about to get into what was said because that's irrelevant. To Steph's point, I have to be on the floor, and whatever that means, you just have to do that.
Now, I'm glad that Draymond Green addressed this and fessed up to his wrongdoing in the situation. But man, this whole Draymond Green cycle seems to be a real thing at this point, and it's kind of getting a little old, man. Like, every time Draymond Green assaults another player or argues with the ref, he gets a tech or gets ejected at a critical time for the Warriors. He comes back, he forgets again that he's not in the MMA and socks some player, gets suspended, apologizes to the team, so that he has to be better and do better, and then the cycle continues again. And I saw some people even questioning Steph Curry and his leadership style, because it seems like Draymond Green has been a loose cannon this season especially, but Draymond Green is just doing what Draymond Green has always done. I don't think that's Steph Curry's fault at all. This is what he's always been. He's always been the Warriors' pivotal piece that's an enforcer, does all the dirty work, which allows Steph and Klay to do what they do as well too. The only difference now is that the Warriors are a little older. Klay Thompson isn't playing at the level that he previously played at before his injury, their team isn't as deep as it once was, and the NBA overall has changed and adapted to a faster pace, and teams are way more skilled and talented than they once were. I mean, even if you look at the average points per game being scored back when Golden State had their record-breaking 72 72-9 season, they scored an average of 114.9 points per game, which led the league by a pretty significant margin at the time. But if you were to take that same points per game average that Golden State had back in that 72-9 season and compare it to the average number that teams are putting up this season, they would literally rank 14th in the league in terms of average points per game. In fact, the Warriors' average points per game this season is 118 points per game, which is way higher than their record-breaking season, and they're only 7th this year in average points per game. Like, goddamn, inflation even hit the NBA scoring too. Like, we can't escape inflation at all, goddamn. Now, currently the Golden State Warriors are in 10th place in the Western Conference with the Houston Rockets trailing by 3 games as I record this. And boy, the Rockets have been on a spree as of late. They won 9 straight games before dropping their last 2, and they've been looking extremely dangerous, so there is a possibility that if Golden State can't hold on for another 2 weeks, they might not even make the play-in tournament and get a shot at a spot in the playoffs. Side note, and this is a pretty big tangent, I'm sure we all know / remember the whole situation that happened a couple years ago with Ime Udoka cheating on Nia Long and piping out one of the married coworkers who was married to a Boston Celtics exec, all of which got him fired and had him jobless for a whole year, yada, yada, yada. But from a purely basketball coaching perspective, we gotta give it up to Ime, man. Ime is doing a phenomenal coaching job, especially as of late with the Houston Rockets, and I'm actually excited to see how they can build on their success that they had this year into the next year, especially given that they've outplayed expectations prior to the season starting. But back to Golden State. Truth be told, if the Golden State Warriors don't make the playoffs this year, hell, if they make the in-season tournament and get bounced from the playoffs, this whole team is going to get blown up. I think Steph Curry probably stays because he's the face of the franchise and he just signed a new contract that keeps him in Golden State until the 2025-2026 season. And they'll probably keep a lot of the young talent guys like Kuminga just because they're on relatively cheap contracts. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Andrew Wiggins are all names that are ready to be on the trading block to try to get either some pieces or some draft picks to try to rebuild this team around Steph. And if you're in a win now mode, I'd probably try to get some pieces because I'm not entirely sure how effective the Warriors would be trying to rebuild through the NBA draft. In 2024, the Warriors don't have a first-round draft pick because they had to give that up to the Memphis Grizzlies. This was in order for them to take Andre Iguodala's contract in 2019, which allowed the Golden State Warriors to make salary cap room for the incoming D'Angelo Russell at the time. So the Golden State Warriors don't actually have a first-round pick until the 2025 draft, so it'd be pretty tough to rebuild through the draft, and it would take at least a couple of years for everything to be fruitful. And I'll be honest, if Steph Curry stays, I don't think you have that much time to be able to rebuild that whole team. You gotta try to win another championship before that Steph Curry window closes. Even if the Golden State Warriors do try to continue to build their team through the draft in anticipation for life after Curry, it's still probably going to be pretty tough because that former GM Bob Myers, who played a key role in creating the Warriors dynasty that we know today, left the Warriors in 2023. Probably because at that point he accomplished everything there was to accomplish as an NBA GM, and he also probably saw the writing on the wall with the future Klay Thompson situation and the contract issues. So I don't think the Golden State Warriors are entirely dead yet. These guys are for sure battle tested, but if they fail to even make the playoffs, or worse, not even make the play-in tournament, some of these chess pieces are going to have to start moving and some people might get sacrificed. But I want to know what y'all think. Should the Warriors trade Draymond after this season regardless of the outcome? And do you think the Golden State Warriors as we know them today are completely done? Sound off in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate all the love from you guys for rocking with me so far. Also, click on the left side over here to watch some of our other videos in the NBA playlist. Anyways, I'm out.